Welcome back to the Mini Transit Mission. I'm Peter Gibbonsneff, and of course, I have Jane Millman here with me again. Jane, how are you doing?
Doing great. Thanks, Peter.
Yeah, so we are really pumped for this episode.
hmm
We're going to be talking about the boat. Got a lot to cover on there.
Yeah,
But first, we got some big updates, though, right?
yeah. Just a quick life update. We have moved out of our temporary Airbnb and we have found a wonderful apartment for us in Auray, France. And yeah, very happy to be in a place where we don't have to pack up our bags in 3 weeks and move again. So,
Yeah, exactly. I think it was this time last week, I think I got the keys to the place. I was doing the move-in inspection. So within a week, we've got the keys, moved everything in, moved all our gear, personal stuff, boat stuff.
yeah, it was a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we got a lot in here. But we found a cool little apartment, though.
Yeah, it's right in the heart of Auray. And yesterday morning, we found out that there is an incredible market that happens every Monday morning with everything from fruits and vegetables to clothing, all the way to real live chickens and pheasants that you can pick out for dinner and
Yeah,
take home.
so that was interesting to see.
that was different. So, but we picked up some food and we had some yesterday, and
It's a cool little city, though.
it's a very cool city.
Like, I keep wanting to be like, it's a town, but it's a city, but it's a town.
It's basically,
I mean, it's like an old port city.
it's basically like yeah, it's an old port city. We went for a walk last night and reading some of the signs. It dated back to the 1600s.
Oh,
Right?
even earlier.
Even
No,
earlier than that.
like 13th century
Yeah.
type stuff.
So,
Yeah.
and cool fact is Benjamin Franklin has actually visited this city
Yeah.
where he worked on the treaty.
Yeah, we need to do some research on
We
that,
need
but
to
it was
research
something
Franklin.
along the lines of this is where he came to negotiate the French support for the American Revolution.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of it was done here or if he just showed up here, but it is an old little port town, and so yeah, we're walking by and the big mural of his face on a wall.
Yeah.
And then a plaque nearby. So it's definitely something there, but we got to do a little more research on that, though.
But it's really cool, very cool city, and I thought like parts of Annapolis were old, but I mean this city is
It's a whole nother level.
whole nother level. So I mean there's a castle, or there was a castle. There's remnants of the castle left.
Yeah. So we live here now. We're about less than a 20-minute drive to where the boat's getting built. So we're kind of just up the road, really just up the river from there.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's very convenient, but it's also nice that we're not as close to the water where everything's a lot more expensive too.
Yeah. So, but we are near the water. We're still near the river.
Yeah, we're near the river, but not near
not in La Trinité.
Yeah, La Trinité, where like everything's like it's more of a beach town there. Like we're not in a beach town where we're at.
Yeah.
But there in La Trinité, it's a lot more of a beach town, which means everything's a lot more expensive, and like the apartments are smaller, and there's less things there. Where this is, we're able to find the right place for us here.
Yeah. No, it's great, and we have bought a car.
Yeah, found a nice 2002. Was it Renault? Renault, something like that. Kangoo, yeah.
Yeah. Smurf blue. So you can't miss this.
Is it Smurf blue or PG and Ocean Racing blue?
We'll go with PG and Ocean Racing blue, but it definitely looks like Smurf blue. But it's great. It fits a ton of stuff.
Yeah, Google Kangoo and
Kangoo.
It's an awesome little car.
Yeah, it seats 5 people. It's got a sliding door on each side,
and it's got a trailer hitch, so we can tow the Mini with it.
The most important thing is a trailer hitch.
And what else can we tow with it?
We also bought a rib, so a powerboat. This was
2005 vintage.
Yeah, a little 2005 vintage Valiant 5.2 meter rib with a 50 horse Mercury. And this was really important to the campaign, and we know what a valuable piece of equipment this will be because we need to be able to tow the boat in and out of the port.
Yeah, there's no motor out on this boat. There's no motor.
Yeah.
And honestly, buying a motor, so it's funny. buying a
Oh,
5
this is very
horsepower,
true. Yeah.
buying a 5 horsepower motor, and paying the yard to put on a motor mount that is removable would probably cost just as much as this rib and a trailer that we just bought.
Yeah.
Keep in mind the trailer's not great.
No.
It was good enough for an hour drive from where we picked it up.
Yeah.
But as the previous owner said, don't drive it across the country.
Yeah. Don't take it to Nice.
Yeah.
Weekend. Yeah.
So it's it's the right rib for what we're doing here.
Yeah.
But we definitely got a good price on it because of that.
Yeah. No, it's the boat's great. It definitely shows her age, but the motor is solid. And I think it's going to do a great job. And also, we needed a boat big enough and fast enough to essentially be able to tow the Mini at higher speeds to help get the boat up foiling and calibrate stuff when it's initially in the water. And also to chase the boat to get film and video and everything to help contribute to the data analysis.
Yeah, so there's a lot of reasons for. I mean, those are the three big things: is the apartment, the car, and the rib.
Yeah,
and we haven't even gone sailing yet.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
but it's been a lot in the last couple weeks, though.
Yeah, and so we've been struggling to find a name for the sailboat, but we have settled on a name for the rib.
It's an awesome name.
It's an awesome name.
I like it.
So the name for the rib is Turbo Seagull.
Oh yeah,
Turbo Seagull. Thanks to the brain trust of some of our friends, came up with that, or maybe ChatGPT, not sure. But Turbo Seagull will be towing the sailboat, which is.
And when you see it, it looks like a Turbo Seagull. It's just got the right colors and the right vibe and character.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the sailboat still remains nameless. So if you have some good ideas, send them our way. We're open to it, open to any and all right now. We have a couple in mind, but we'd love some more options.
I think we got one in mind. We might be going with it.
I know. I think we will too. We both, yeah. It's like naming your child, and it's difficult.
But let's jump in and talk about this boat, because yes, a lot of life updates there, and while all that's going on, the boat's also getting built.
Yep.
So I just came back from checking out the build, and so as you might have seen online on social media and some updates we've done, the deck is glued on the hull now.
Yeah, it looks like a boat.
It looks like a boat.
Looks like a boat.
It could float if you put it in the water. But and now, so with the deck getting glued on the hull, they were setting it up so they could do the infusion to put a layer of carbon, like a strip of carbon, around the outside of the hull that goes over the seam or like the joint between the deck and the hull itself.
Yeah, the deck, the seam between the two pieces.
Yeah. So they were setting that up to infuse today. And then tomorrow they're probably going to be doing some more infusion in some of the joints in the seams down below, inside the boat. So, yeah, it's a boat now. It looks like a boat.
It looks like a boat. I know. It's very exciting. It's really cool to see the two pieces being made completely separate of each other and then having them come together, and the time and just the craftsmanship it took to make sure that the two pieces fit well together, because it wasn't just slapping one on top of the other. It was making sure that the bulkheads and the stringers were aligned properly and that the joints were snug. And they'll go in and reinforce everything, but just a lot of really well done craftsmanship.
Yeah, and a lot of sanding and aligning and working on that. But then I think a lot of it also came back to how was it designed, and then the mold. I mean, the molds were started back in October?
Yeah.
And so you think about the process, they built some solid molds to build the boat out of, for one mold for the deck, one mold for the hull. And it's that craftsmanship, that kind of work that went into those molds is what allows them to have the deck come together now and fit so well together.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
So it's really cool seeing that whole process come together.
Yeah, technology, man.
Yeah. So we got a boat now.
Yes.
And now
mostly a boat.
Yeah, mostly a boat. And now it's all about, as they're finishing up the process of putting everything together, now it's putting everything in the boat to make it actually be able to sail.
Yeah. and all the components that go into it. Everything from will give us an update on the appendages of the boat. So the foils. So you've got the rudders, the keel,
and that's
the actual foils.
Yeah, and that's one of the questions we got a lot too. It's like, who's building the foils for the boat, and you have the keel and the rudder. And so to clear that up, they're all getting built at JPS Production, where the boat's getting built, but they've outsourced some of the creating of the molds. So they had different places like make the molds, and then they got shipped to JPS. And so last week the molds for the foil showed up. So it's one big structure, and the two foils are part of one mold that they'll be built out of.
Yeah, which just saves space and everything. And so that they are the same shape.
Yeah, so they're exactly the same shape, and it was a heavy. I mean, the mold for the foils had to be lifted off with a forklift. Four of us tried to lift it up, and we could not lift it. It was
it's basically CNC'd like what, concrete?
So it's like the structure of it is wood, but then it's a composite like shell that goes over the wood, and it's actually like glued onto the wood itself. But it's that composite
plastic,
something like that. And we're back. So we had a great recording yesterday for part of this episode,
or what we thought was a great recording.
Yeah, and the computer shut off on us, so we lost about half the podcast episode.
Yep.
But we're back here now, the following day.
Yep.
So this will be part 2 of 3 parts, all in one episode.
Yeah. Which is okay. I mean, we know all of this stuff, so talking about it again is not a problem for us.
Yeah. So let's jump right into it. We were talking about the boat, and we were talking about the foils mold that got delivered. I think one of the big questions I get a lot asked about is like, what's the weight of this boat going to be?
Yeah.
Right? Yep. And it's a kind of an interesting concept. The boat's not fully together, so we haven't actually weighed it. Yeah. So at this point, it's all theoretical, right?
Yes, but we have like a good idea of what it should weigh, right?
Yeah. So estimates is a little under 850 kilograms, and I'm curious to see what it's actually going to be. But the boat's all carbon, super light for the size of the boat and how much goes into it. Because even though it's only 21 feet long, that 3-meter beam, or was it 9.8 feet wide beam, like it's a lot of boat in a little package.
Yeah. And just to compare it to Terminal Eve 837, your series boat, that boat weighed about like 990
somewhere
kilograms.
Around there.
And so this is big difference. And so just for those of you that are asking yourselves, well, what is the change from metric to imperial?
I need that too myself.
So we're looking at 850 kilograms is 1,873 pounds, 74 if you round up. And so that's a really light boat.
And that includes the keel and the lead bulb, and also the rig.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, so the mast on there, I mean, the mast is a small number. What did we say the mast weighed about?
26 kilos.
Yeah, so 26 kilos. I weighed that myself a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, so it's 57.3 pounds.
Yeah. Which is interesting because this mast...
35-foot mast.
Yeah, because this mast is rotating wing mast, so it's actually thicker and a little bit heavier than the non-rotating wing mast. But being a little bit heavier, it's only 26 kilos instead of maybe 20, 18, whatever a more standard mast might weigh.
I mean, your standard carbon fixed mast. But I mean, your aluminum rig, that probably weighed like close to 90 pounds, right?
I don't know. It's hard to say because it's just so big.
I remember carrying it.
I know we were carrying it, but it wasn't super heavy.
We had all the running rigging, or the standing rigging on.
Yeah. So I don't know, but either way, it's the whole thing's gonna be light.
And we will have an updated number for you once everything's together. The goal is to weigh everything as we put it into the boat, or do a final weight of the boat at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then with that, everything that goes into the boat, we're also tracking on the weights, and the goal is to get the lightest possible stuff on the boat too. Yeah. For everything. I mean, you're talking about the weight of a VHF handheld radio, everything that goes into the boat, the life raft, the survival equipment. You want to have the right stuff on board, but at the same time, you want to have light
Yeah.
survival equipment.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, but then just thinking about what's required in the class, like how much water you have to carry for the mini transat, that is going to be one of the heaviest things that you put on that boat is water,
Water, definitely. And the rule is
drinking water.
it's about 3 to 4 liters. The range is 3 to 4 liters per 100 miles of racing.
Yeah. So when you carried, was it 140 liters
Yeah.
for the second leg in 2023? And that leg was shorter than what this leg to Brazil is going to be.
Only by a little bit, though. 200 miles shorter.
200 miles.
Ish. Yeah.
But
that's still 8 liters of water.
Yeah.
6 to 8 liters of water. Yeah. But it's good that those bigger races, they give you a range that you have to be within.
Yeah.
So I think that's it on the weight for what we know or what we can really talk about for right now, because we're just got to wait for the boat to get built.
Yeah.
So should we move on to the next big thing?
Yeah. You have an announcement to make?
We have a partnership announcement.
Yep.
If you've been following our social media and our blog posts, email updates, you'll know that our newest partner is Quantum Sales. Yeah, we're excited to announce that.
Yeah, we're very excited to partner again with Quantum Sales. They were with us and supported us in the last campaign, and so we've been in talks with them for a very long time, and so we're excited to be able to finally make the public announcement. But
it's a whole new level.
It's a whole new level
incredible.
of sponsorship compared to the last campaign. And there are a few reasons why we went with Quantum Sales.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, a big part of it is we wanted the best sales for the boat. They have a great product and the customer service.
Yeah.
I mean, if you remember, there was a quote that you got, or there was advice that you got from a famous sailor who won't be named. But what did he tell you?
To go with somebody that's going to be the best customer service. Who's giving you the best service so far?
Yeah, and who wants to work with you?
Yeah,
it's all about who wants to work with you, and obviously most sailmakers will want to work with you, but it's that follow up, that follow through. I mean, we've had a great relationship with Quantum Sales. I personally have used their sales for over 25 years now. That relationship started back in the early 2000s, 2001, 2002. When we had their sales on my parents' boat, the FAR 395 upgrade, which some of you listeners might have sailed on back in the day.
Or competed against.
Or raced against. And then on numerous boats since then, I've used Quantum Sales. We have them on a lot of our U.S. Patriot sailing boats as well, too. They've been a great supplier of sales for those boats for that program. And, I mean, we've just, the loft specifically in Annapolis has been great. So I started the relationship with them back in winter of 2020. I remember reaching out to them, and Scott Nixon was my main point of contact. And, the reason why I went with Quantum initially for that season was really his customer service from him specifically. He brought me into the Quantum family, essentially, the company for selling me the sales, but then connected me to the global network that they have, that international network of sail designers. And so we were linked up with a French sail designer who knew the minis, who was sailing minis himself. I mean, he had large experience, but the minis, he definitely knew it. So,
and that's Gildas Dubois.
Yeah.
So based here in France, the west coast of France, and so he designed your first set of sails.
Yeah, so he designed them before I'd met him in person, before he'd even seen the boat. He designed the set of sails in France when the first mini Terminal Leave 837 was still in Annapolis before he'd shipped it over to France. He did an excellent job designing that first set of sails. And then he designed a second set of sails for the 2023 season.
Yeah.
So this is actually the third set of sails that he's designing for our campaign here.
Which those set of sails from the 2023 season are still going strong.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, they have well over 5,000 miles on them now.
Oh, yeah, at least, yeah. And so
6,000 almost, because we used those to sail back from the Caribbean.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, so did the transatlantic race, sailed from Guadalupe back up to Annapolis, and then been using them on the bay for the last couple of years.
So, and they're still great sails.
Yeah. And so, so I've been really happy with the partnership, the relationship with Quantum Sales, with both the local sail loft in Annapolis, the leadership in Quantum with the Quantum, and then also the international, relationships that we've had with them. Yeah, with the team.
Yeah, the team.
I mean, just the other day we had the vice president for Quantum Europe stop by, visit. He was in the area, wanted to say hi.
Yep.
So it was great having those kind of relationships with the Quantum brand.
Yeah, and it's more than just like sail design. A lot has gone into these sails for the new boat. And I mean, like, how can it be more than sail design? Like, it is everything. Like, a lot of time has been spent. They've used their IQ technology.
Yeah.
We are going to do a separate episode and stuff about the sails.
Oh, we're going to have to. There's so much that goes into it.
So much that goes into it. And this past weekend, when Gildas was showing us some of the designs and everything, and polars and stuff, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think also something to highlight is our boat looks similar to the previous Sam Anwar design, Nico-Matic. We're a next iteration of that boat, but I think everyone's going to be excited to see our sails are going to be, let's just say, slightly different. We're going to have some differences.
They're going to be different, which is really cool.
Because, in a good way, I think.
In a very good way. Because if you aren't aware, or many of you might be aware, is that Quantum is now part of the NTG group, and so that affords them the ability to other materials that they didn't have available to them before, but they're still using their own design team and software to design the sails and everything, but they're able to use these new materials in making the sails. And so I think that's what we're really excited about. Gildas was also talking about some of this new sails.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then he also visited us at JPS multiple times to come meet with the designer, Sam Anwar, to meet with the builder, JPS Production. Yep. He's also joined us at the mast builder, so AOL.
AOL.
Yeah, it's HEOL if you're going to Google it, but it's AOL. He was building the mast about maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes down the road from here. And so he's been a big part of this process, way beyond just the sails themselves, but how the sails interact with the rigging, with the mast, with the boat itself, both in displacement mode and in flying foiling mode.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into it. I think we got to save, there's so much more that we can talk about. I think we got to save that for a whole nother episode, though.
We will.
And then we kind of mentioned the rigging, but I think another thing that we got to talk about is we've announced this previously, but another partnership that we're excited about is with Lightspeed Rigging or LS Rigging. That's been exciting having them on board. They're making the standing rigging.
Yep, another Annapolis company.
Yeah, so Annapolis based. The owner, Vernon Holzer, he actually is. We've had a longer relationship with him in the sense that he actually used to own 837 Terminal Leave.
Yep.
So I bought the boat from him back in September 2020.
Yeah. So we've known him since then, and we're excited to continue that relationship and partner with them and have their rigging on board, providing all the standing rigging. And so it'll be carbon rigging on this boat on the wing mast. Which is really cool.
We're excited to have on, and they got some pretty cool technology. So we'll definitely be sharing more about that. I believe I know all the carbon rigging is finished, but they're shipping it over to France right now. So we should have it soon.
And it's been cool to see all the different separate entities working together. So Quantum, AOL, LS Rigging, and JPS all working together and talking and just making sure that we're all on the same page and that things are going well and on track.
Absolutely. What are some other things we're working on? We're going to have some deck hardware on the boat. We'll have more announcements on that in a little bit. And then also the running rigging. Just had a good meeting today with the rigger that I'm hiring, which there's going to be a lot of lines to go on this boat.
A lot of lines.
And just trying to figure out how, what size, what lengths, how much loads are going to be on it. There's going to be a lot more loads on this boat than the last Mini that we had.
And also just a reminder, there's no hydraulics on this boat. And so that means that all of everything is the canting keel is all essentially block and tackle. It's probably not going to be blocks. They might be friction rings. But that's all still that we're leaving that up to the experts. But there's still going to be, it's all essentially block and tackle using purchases and everything. So we're really excited about that, and I'm excited to see once we add up all the lengths on the boat, to see what is the actual length of running rigging that's in the 21-foot Mini.
There's gonna be a lot. There's a lot of purchases.
We should do a contest and see who guesses.
I like that.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
They could win like some merch.
Yeah. So, and then as if that wasn't enough, there's a lot of other stuff going on the boat too in the electronics department, right?
Yep. Yeah. So you're working with SkySat, which is a company local to the Trinité-sur-Mer area.
Yeah, they're like 5 minutes down the road from where the boat's getting built.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of custom install work for the electronics. And this was one area where I did not want to mess around, or it's definitely not cheap, the amount of electronics that we're putting in here or the installers, but you got to have it done the right way the first time. Otherwise, it's going to be years of pain and misery
and troubleshooting.
Yeah.
And that just takes up a lot of time, and
it's a performance thing too.
It's a performance thing, but also we just don't have that time.
Yeah.
And so we need to make sure that we get things going and running quickly right from the start.
Yeah, and so we met with SkySat back in November when we were at the Mets trade show in Amsterdam. Mm-hmm. So we've been working with them since then. And so they've purchased all the electronics equipment that's going to go on the boat, and they have all the wires ready to go. So soon they're going to be jumping in the boat and installing everything. I think we can go through some of the key parts that they'll be putting in.
Yeah.
So I think starting with
how is the boat being charged?
Yeah. So batteries. So we're gonna have lithium batteries on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have 2 lithium batteries. The minimum is 200 amp hours. You got to have at least 200 amp hours. So we're gonna have 2 100 amp hour batteries, lithium, on the boat, which is pretty light, which is nice.
Yep. And then those batteries are going to be charged by solar panels, and you're going to have about 700 watts of solar.
740.
740 watts of solar panels.
Yeah, so we got them installed on the deck. So there's going to be part of the solar panels. I'd say like 2/3 of the solar panels are going to be on the cabin top roof on either side of the main, or on either side of the mast. And then about 1/3 of the panels will be up on the bow, actually, outside of the lifelines and the stanchions, because the scow bow is so wide that the stanchions don't actually go all the way outside. So we have some free space to put them on.
Yeah.
And the goal is to basically power the boat with just the solar panels. And then if that's not working, we'll readjust from there. We're also going to have an external solar panel that we can pull out and move around. Mm-hmm. So that'll be located down below that we'll be able to pull out. And my goal is really to I want to have an effective charging source. So the solar panels are brand new. They're going to be great. But at the same time, I want to keep the weight low, especially initially. Yeah. So I don't want to just throw a hydrogen fuel cell in right away, or any other, we used a hydro generator before. I don't think that's going to be a great call because of the weight. And then also we're going to be lifting up with the foils so high out of the water. So that's not really going to be a great option. Yeah. So I think let's go with the solar panels, see how that works, and readjust from there. But at the same time, it's almost like you need more power for some of these shorter offshore races in the Bay of Biscay, because you have a lot more bad weather here. Yeah. But I remember, for the Mini Transat, for that second leg, we had so much clear skies, sun every single day.
No problem with the battery.
Yeah.
Keeping them topped up. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how the boat's getting charged, because there's no motor in the boat, so you can't just turn on the
no
motor.
Alternator, to charge the batteries. So.
Yeah. And then for electronics, we're going to have B&G H5000 displays. Then we're going to also have a Garmin TD50.
The Garmin TD50 is specifically for which unit?
Madden-Tech MadBrain.
And what is that?
So that is an AI-powered platform, essentially, that plugs into the autopilot, and it improves the autopilot performance. So it takes an AI-enabled algorithm that learns how to drive the boat, both in displacement mode and also in foiling mode. Mm-hmm. And it really improves overall performance, sailing the boat to polars and to the target boat speeds that you're trying to get.
Yeah, so it's constantly improving itself. And that's connected to the Raymarine autopilot system.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about Madden-Tech is that you can plug and play that into different autopilot systems. Yep. So if you have Raymarine, NKE, whatever autopilot you have, it essentially plugs into that system. Yeah. And it's an add-on. Yep. But I'm really excited to try that out for the first time, though.
Yeah, and if you are interested in learning more about that, please reach out. We've done a lot of research on it, and we're excited to include this new technology in the boat. The same technology is also in some of the IMOCAs.
The Alton Trimarans,
Class 40s. And so so it's definitely it's a proven piece of technology that really has not made its way over to the American market yet. And so we're happy to talk to you about that. It's a really cool piece.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a French company, so it's definitely they were targeting the French market initially, but I know they're ready to expand to the US and they want to get to some more US boats. So if this is something that interests you in improving your autopilot performance, we'll get you connected. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, definitely. So I'm excited to have that on board. What are some other things we have? So we can't have satellite communications,
Nope.
but we have a GPS on board.
Yep.
So we'll have a Furuno GP39.
Yeah. So super simple, basic, black and white, right?
Actually,
Or
it's got color.
this one's got color.
It's got color, but it doesn't have a chart plotter capability.
No chart plotter capabilities. And also, so just a reminder, no Starlink for satellite communication.
Which is great, so Jane can't be bothering me when I'm out there racing.
Yeah. Or you can't be bothering me. Or
that's true.
posting all your reels.
That's true. No Instagram reels out there.
Instagram reels. You have to focus on racing. But then also, like, the form of communication that you do have is just going to be your VHF radio with AIS. Receiver and transponder.
Yeah, exactly. That receiver and transponder is huge on the boat. That's a really important part of it.
It's very important. Because, yes, it's super important solo sailing.
So the ships will be able to see us. We'll be able to see them for the ones that have AIS.
Yep.
It's love having that AIS transponder on there.
Yeah.
So those are some of the main electronics we have. I mean, I feel like there's a lot more that goes on the boat, but those are the kind of the core systems.
Yeah, I would say those are the core systems. You got the B and G that will be in the cockpits.
Yeah, so 2 displays there.
Multi-graphic displays.
And then we'll have like a panel that's movable panel, adjustable panel that goes inside and outside. It kind of adjusts it inside the companionway, and that's going to have the Furuno GPS, the AIS, and then also the TD50 for Garmin display for the Madden-Tech. So it'll have 3 displays on there. Yeah, so we got a lot of stuff on this boat.
Yeah.
And then we haven't even gone into the safety equipment, which we'll save that for another episode too. There's a whole life raft, ditch bag, all that stuff.
5-page list.
Yeah, that's a lot. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
Which is, I mean, and when we talk about that, it's really, I think that's one thing that really proves that this class is all about safety and preparedness and preparation, is that each boat gets an individual safety check or security check, where somebody comes on board, like
for every single race.
Every single race, somebody from the FF Wall comes on board, and for the mini class, and goes through this entire list, and you have to pull out each item and show them that you have it, and they inspect it and make sure that it's ready to go, nothing's expired, that it's all labeled correctly.
It's a very detailed check.
It's a very detailed check.
And it's stressful. Even if you're fully prepared, there's always things that sometimes you might have that you think is good, and they might be like, oh no, that doesn't meet the standard that we have. It's not written anywhere. And so sometimes you're changing things out, or
like
sometimes
last year when the color changed from red to orange.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I had like bright red tape on the ditch bag, but it wasn't good enough, and they had to change it to orange tape instead of red tape. And you're like, that's not written down anywhere, but they're like, no, you got to do it. I know.
And they were scrambling to find orange tape somewhere. Yeah. So it's pretty wild, but I think it just shows how serious they take safety.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is reassuring to both your mother and me.
Yeah.
And like you said, that's for every race. And like the race that starts tomorrow, the PLM.
Yeah.
There's 72 boats in that race.
Yeah, the Placimo Lorient Mini.
Yeah, so it's a double-handed race out of Lorient, which we did that in April of 23.
Yep.
And that they go on every single boat, so 72 boats, and they inspect each boat to make sure that they're ready to go. Especially at the beginning of the season,
Yeah, and that's the whole part of it, is like throughout the year, every boat's getting inspected multiple times, so every boat improves on how they're prepared for these races. And so at that point, I mean, that's why there's such a good success rate for the minis racing across the ocean.
Success rate meaning that people don't drop out or lose their boats or no, that's true.
So it's good, yeah. Well, I think we can wrap up this section that got
part 2.
Yeah, part 2 of 3 parts.
Yeah.
That got a race. I think that's everything we wanted to cover, because we're going to cover a few more things in the next section. All right.
Okay. On to part 3.
All right, part 3. Here we go.
I think there is one thing I just want to wrap up our conversation. Is there anything else you want to talk about before
I think that's it for the boat right now.
That's
I mean,
it for the boat, but
we
there's
could
so
talk
much.
about it for hours.
I mean, it's gonna look different from today to Friday.
Yeah.
We can keep update more. But I think the big thing is that we are still looking for sponsors, title sponsor, multiple sponsors, like whatever it is. There's a lot of personal time and money invested into this project so far, but we are still looking for sponsors and and we're happy to talk to anybody and everybody, and talk about different ways to highlight your company, whether it's you want to sponsor the Madden Tech Brain and say every time we talk about the Madden Tech Brain, which is going to be a lot because it is literally the autopilot that's driving the boat, is that we can say Madden Tech Brain sponsored by X company.
Or individual with a donation.
Yeah.
We give you a shout out to you or your family or one of your loved ones.
Yeah. Like it's like we can get creative. You can think it, or if you have an idea, we can make it happen. This project is really taking hold and it's making a lot of waves. Get it?
I mean, there's a lot of eyeballs getting on this thing.
There's
right
a
now.
lot. And yeah, your social media game is real strong right now.
We're putting out a lot of content.
There's a lot more content coming, especially when you get that boat foiling.
Oh, yeah.
Once that boat is up and in the air, I mean, it's really going to be crazy.
And I think for those companies out there, like you're going to want to get on here before we get the boat in the water, so that we can really maximize the brand awareness, the partnership and sponsorship, and the earlier the better.
Yeah, well, and I think Quantum did say it best. Like they were excited to join us from the very start because a lot of people don't get to see the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And they want to show the audience. They want to share things with their audience and with their marketing team and everything.
Yeah.
Like what goes into everything. And we want to be there. And we're here to tell that story. We want to help tell that story. And so if you want to be included in our story, we want to talk to you.
We would love to have you on board.
Yeah.
Whether it's you or if you have a connection to a certain company, maybe you want to introduce us to your marketing department at your own company.
Yeah.
Or maybe you own a company yourself and you want to get on board. Let's talk.
Yeah. Any level, we are happy to talk. And honestly, if you think even somebody might be interested, those conversations are worth having because even if they're not interested, they may lead us to somebody else that is. And it's that network that I know our network is wide and deep, but the worldwide network is even bigger.
So we're ready to have those conversations, and I mean it's incredible seeing the amount of publicity and people that are interested in seeing this boat. And I mean we've had articles come out in like Sailing World. We got one coming out in Seahorse.
It's out right now, actually.
Right now,
the article is in Seahorse magazine right now. We haven't even had a chance to read it yet.
Yeah.
But Dobbs Davis wrote that article.
Yeah.
And
we'll have one coming out in Sail magazine in a little bit.
Yeah, for the May issue, I think.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was another one too. We had another big one. We've had a lot of like good articles written on it. And then also getting on the more podcasts too. So doing more interviews on podcasts.
Yeah.
And then through online social media and videos
and
YouTube.
The whole racing season coming up.
Yeah.
So the racing season with all the coverage that you're going to produce before, you're going to film during, and then we will get out after, is also huge.
Yeah. It's a lot of opportunity.
A lot of opportunity. So please reach out. You can do Peter at pgnoceanracing.com or Jane at pgnoceanracing.com. If you guys don't follow our blog post right now, or please go to the website pgnoceanracing.com and sign up for the blog post. That's kind of your inside track to learning things about the boat before we make the formal announcement to the world, which is really cool. We've had a lot of people following along that. So thank you, everyone,
Yeah, huge thank you.
Huge thank you to everyone that has been supporter, both in your time, talent, money, like everything for over the years. Like honestly, this wouldn't be happening. Like
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean,
without
the
the
amount of people
support.
that have helped out through donations through this campaign have been
Mhm.
incredible. And then the sponsors and partners that we have along the way.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what makes it all possible.
Mhm.
And we have an exciting future ahead of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Very exciting.
Well, good. Well, I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah.
It's been a great chance to kind of share a little more about this,
Mhm.
and then also let us know what you want to hear more about. I mean, there's always so much more that we could talk about on the boat and the campaign, and I'm curious what
What do you guys want to
yeah what the
hear?
listeners want to hear about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So send us an email, send us a message online.
Comment on the podcast.
Yeah,
Click and follow. That's a huge thing. Subscribe to the podcast.
yeah. Subscribe to the podcast, leave a review,
Yep.
follow on
Share with
social
your
media,
friends.
do all that stuff. Like it, share it, save it.
Yep.
The more clicks, the better.
Yep.
It actually helps.
It actually does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So awesome. All right. Well, I think it's time to wrap it up then.
Yeah, we gotta go make dinner.
Yeah.
It's after 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
But it's still set. It's still like still little daylight left.
Yeah, there's a little daylight out there.
We're really far north.
All right. Well, thank you everyone, and that's it for this episode of the Mini Transit Mission.